Level 1. Hype that collapsed. Every generation produces forwards who look destined for greatness. The scouts were right about the talent. They just couldn't predict everything else. Elite expectations, minimal elite output. Alexandre Pato was 18 when he started scoring in Champions League knockout rounds. By 21, a Serie A title. Then his body failed. Chronic muscle injuries stacked on top of each other. Hamstring, thigh, groin. His explosive acceleration, the thing that made him special, became the thing that kept breaking him. 63 goals in around 150 Milan appearances before age 24. After that, loan spells, failed moves, a career that drifted through China, Sao Paulo, Orlando. The trajectory that was supposed to rival Ronaldo Nazario became a cautionary tale about physical durability. Mario Balotelli had the talent. The goal against Germany in Euro 2012, the shirt revealing, "Why always me?" The problem was never ability, it was consistency and focus. 30 goals in 80 games at City is respectable for a young striker in a title-winning side. Liverpool paid £16 million and got 4 goals in 28 appearances. After that, a tour of Europe's mid-table. Nice, Marseille, Brescia. 12 clubs total. At every stop, flashes of brilliance followed by stretches of anonymity. Andy Carroll cost Liverpool £35 million, British transfer record at the time. He scored 11 goals in 58 appearances. Repeated injuries across his career. The aerial threat that made him valuable required a physical foundation that kept crumbling. The trajectory since tells its own story. Reading, West Brom, then France's second division with Amiens at 34, then France's fourth tier with Bordeaux at 35, where he still managed 11 goals in 21 matches for a club in financial freefall. In July 2025, he signed for Dagenham and Redbridge in England's sixth tier. Luka Jovic looked like Real Madrid's succession plan. 27 goals in 48 games at Frankfurt. Madrid paid €60 million. He scored 3 goals in 2 seasons. The confidence that made him lethal evaporated at the Bernabeu. He's 27 now, playing for AEK Athens. These 4 share one thing: the gap between expectation and outcome. Injuries, mentality, circumstance. The reasons differ, the result is the same. Level 2. Potential under-evaluation. Talent is visible. Proof is incomplete. Benjamin Šeško has the physical tools that make sporting directors rearrange their entire transfer budget. 22 years old, 6'5", 39 goals in 87 games across 2 seasons at RB Leipzig. A top speed of 35.7 km per hour, just 1.5 km per hour slower than the fastest player in the Bundesliga. The ceiling is obvious: pace, power, aerial ability, two-footed finishing, and a willingness to drop into build-up play that most target men never develop. His former teammates compared him to Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Recruitment analysts describe him as one of the most complete young striker prospects in Europe. But watch him in tight spaces and the processing speed still shows rough edges. When he has time, he's clinical. When he doesn't, hesitation appears. Manchester United paid big money and will soon find out which version they got. Viktor Gyökeres arrives at Arsenal with the most scrutinized numbers in recent transfer history. 97 goals in 102 games at Sporting CP, back-to-back league titles, back-to-back Player of the Year awards, and the 2025 Gerd Müller Trophy as Europe's top scorer. His finishing efficiency over the past 4 seasons puts him in the top percentile alongside Mbappe, Kane, and Haaland. The movement patterns are elite. more off-the-ball runs into the opposition area than any other Premier League striker this season. But context matters. The Portuguese league isn't the Premier League. Sporting's system was built around his movement. Previous prolific scorers from Liga Portugal, Mario Jardel, Jackson Martinez, struggled to replicate their numbers in England. Gyökeres himself couldn't break into Brighton's first team 5 years ago. Now he's carrying £55 million of expectations and the number 14 shirt, Thierry Henry's old number. 5 goals in 15 Premier League matches so far. The proving window is open. Nick Woltemade was a deep cut 12 months ago. Now he's Newcastle's record signing. £65 million for a 6'6" German with technique that shouldn't exist at that height. Werder Bremen's youngest ever Bundesliga debutant at 17. Loan spell at third-tier Elversberg, where he won Player of the Season. Then Stuttgart, 12 Bundesliga goals, a DFB Pokal winners medal, and 6 goals at the Under-21 Euros as top scorer. He scored on his Premier League debut against Wolves, scored on his Champions League debut against Union Saint-Gilloise, became only the 3rd player to score in his first 3 home matches at St James's Park. His Stuttgart captain called him Volta Messi for the footwork that defies his frame. 7 Premier League goals by late December. The sample size is growing. The physical profile remains rare. Level 2 is about trajectory, not judgment. These forwards could be level 5 in 3 years. They could also confirm that potential and performance aren't the same thing. Level 3. Reliable professionals. Managers trust them. History won't mythologize them. Edin Dzeko built a career on being exactly what every coach needed. Wolfsburg, Bundesliga top scorer, league champion. Manchester City, 2 Premier League titles, 72 goals in 189 appearances. Roma, 119 goals across 6 seasons, club captain. Inter Milan, a Champions League final at 37. Now at Fiorentina, still scoring at 39, the oldest goalscorer in Conference League history. 15 years of consistent elite output. Olivier Giroud presents a paradox casual fans never understood. Arsenal, 105 goals, never the star, always the focal point. Chelsea, Champions League winner in 2021. AC Milan, Serie A champion. For France, he's the all-time leading scorer. 57 goals, more than Platini, Henry or Zidane. He won a World Cup without scoring, which tells you everything about his spatial contribution. The link-up play, the defensive attention absorbed, the space created for others. Romelu Lukaku has the numbers, but not the narrative. Everton, 87 goals. Inter under Conte, 64 in 95. Serie A champion, Footballer of the Year. Then Chelsea happened. £97 million, 15 goals, system mismatch, public confidence collapse. Now reunited with Conte at Napoli, producing again. In the right tactical structure, he's devastating. In the wrong one, he disappears. Diego Costa brought psychological warfare as a tactical weapon. Atletico Madrid, 27 league goals in 2013-14 as they won La Liga for the first time since 1996. Chelsea, 2 Premier League titles. He got sent off. He got opponents sent off. He made defenders hate showing up for work. Diego Simeone described him as providing enthusiasm, aggression, speed, decisiveness, and physical strength. Elite output surrounded by conflict. Level 3 forwards don't get documentaries. They get respect from coaches and opponents who understood what they contributed, game after game, season after season. Level 4. Elite peaks. Short windows of absolute dominance. These forwards, at their best, were untouchable. Top 3 in their league. Match winners on form alone. The difference between level 4 and the tiers above isn't talent, it's duration. Level 4 measures how high the peak reached, not how long it lasted. Radamel Falcao, between 2011 and 2014, was a finishing machine operating at maximum efficiency. Porto, 72 goals in 87 games, Europa League winner, record breaker with 17 goals in a single European campaign. Atletico Madrid, 70 in 91, another Europa League, a Copa del Rey, a UEFA Super Cup hat-trick against Chelsea. He became the first player to win consecutive Europa Leagues with 2 different clubs. Fabio Capello said Falcao was the only player who had ever impressed him as much as Messi. That wasn't hyperbole, it was observable reality. Then his knee exploded. ACL tear in January 2014. He missed the World Cup in Brazil. The tournament Colombia reached the quarter-finals without him. The loans to Manchester United and Chelsea that followed produced 5 goals combined in 41 appearances. The explosive movement, the anticipation, the killer instinct in the box, gone. Pre-injury, Falcao was a top 3 striker in world football. Post-injury, Falcao was a cautionary tale about how quickly elite-level athleticism can disappear when the biomechanics fail. Fernando Torres was already special before England ever saw him. Atletico Madrid's academy product made his first-team debut at 17. By 19, he was captain, the youngest in club history, leading a squad that included 32 and 33-year-old Champions League winners. His friends gave him a captain's armband with "We'll never walk alone" stitched inside. Prophetic, as it turned out. 75 goals in 174 La Liga appearances for a club that spent 2 of those seasons in the second division and never finished higher than 7th in La Liga during his time there. He was carrying an underperforming team on teenage shoulders, winning European under-16 and under-19 championships for Spain while Atletico struggled domestically. The service wasn't there. The supporting cast wasn't there. But you could see what he was. Liverpool paid £20 million in 2007 and got the best version. 81 goals in 142 games, 24 league goals in his debut season, more than any foreign player's first Premier League campaign. In 2008, he finished 3rd in both the Ballon d'Or and FIFA World Player of the Year voting. The pace, the timing of runs, the composure in front of goal, everything synchronized perfectly. Then injuries accumulated. Chelsea paid £50 million in January 2011. The explosiveness never returned. He won trophies, Champions League, Europa League, FA Cup, but as a diminished version of himself. The player Liverpool bought was a generational talent. The window was just brutally short. Robin van Persie delivered 2 seasons that belonged at level 6. Arsenal 2011-12, 30 Premier League goals, Golden Boot, PFA Player of the Year, FWA Footballer of the Year. The second half of the previous season had hinted at what was coming. 18 goals in his final 17 league matches. Then the full campaign confirmed it. Manchester United paid £22.5 million. United 2012-13. 26 goals, another Golden Boot, a league title, the defining volley against Aston Villa that clinched it. He chose the number 20 shirt because his assistant coach convinced him he'd help secure United's 20th league title. He did exactly that. Ruud van Nistelrooy was the purest penalty box striker of his generation. Manchester United, 150 goals in 219 games. He reached 50 Champions League goals faster than anyone in history. 62 appearances, a record that stood until Erling Haaland broke it in 2025. Real Madrid, 64 goals in 96 games, 2 La Liga titles, the Pichichi Trophy as Spain's top scorer in his debut season with 25 goals. Even at Hamburg and Malaga in his mid-30s, he kept scoring until his body finally gave out in 2012. He didn't create, he didn't drop deep or link play. He finished. Crosses, through balls, rebounds, penalties, everything that arrived in the 6-yard box, he converted with ruthless efficiency. He scored in 10 consecutive Premier League games, setting a record that stood for 12 years until Jamie Vardy broke it. Van Nistelrooy perfected one dimension of the position rather than expanding it. Van Nistelrooy's peak lasted longer than anyone else in this tier, a full decade of elite production from PSV through Real Madrid. That longevity almost pushes him higher. But he remains level 4 because the role he played was narrower than those above him. That's level 4 excellence. Elite at something specific, historically good within a time frame, but not transformative across the entire role. Level 5. Era-defining forwards. Different leagues, different systems, same elite impact. These forwards didn't just score goals, they shaped how their teams played, how opponents prepared, how coaches built entire tactical structures around their presence. Remove them, and the team becomes something else entirely. Robert Lewandowski is the consistency outlier. Borussia Dortmund, 103 goals in 187 games, 2 Bundesliga titles, a Champions League final. Bayern Munich, 344 in 375, 41 goals in a single Bundesliga season, breaking Gerd Müller's record that had stood for 49 years. Now at Barcelona, 37 years old, still producing 112 goals in 177 appearances. He doesn't have bad seasons. The physical maintenance, the positioning intelligence, the finishing repetition. Everything optimized across 16 years at the highest level. Karim Benzema evolved in ways forwards rarely do. During Cristiano Ronaldo's Real Madrid tenure, he scored 192 goals in 412 games. Elite numbers, but always in a secondary role. He created space, linked play, deferred the finishing to the player who demanded the spotlight. After Ronaldo left for Juventus in 2018, Benzema transformed. 162 goals in 236 games. A Ballon d'Or at 34. The first French winner since Zidane. His 2021-22 Champions League campaign. 15 goals, including hat-tricks against PSG and Chelsea, showed a forward operating at peak cognitive levels, while most players his age are managing decline. Zlatan Ibrahimovic proved it across 6 leagues. Ajax, Juventus, Inter, Barcelona, AC Milan, PSG, Manchester United, LA Galaxy, Milan again. Over 500 career goals, 14 league titles, scored until 41 years old. The ego matched the output. The longevity required constant adaptation, from technical forward to target man to penalty box presence, and he made every evolution look like a choice. Edinson Cavani was movement personified. Napoli, 104 goals in 138 games, Serie A top scorer. PSG, 200 in 301, their all-time leading scorer until Mbappé arrived. Uruguay's second highest scorer ever, behind Suarez. Pure off-ball intelligence, the kind of runs that don't show up on highlight reels but create the space that makes everything else possible. Didier Drogba defined an era of English football. Chelsea, 164 goals in 381 games across 2 spells. 4 Premier League titles, 4 FA Cups, 10 goals in 10 cup finals. Roberto Firmino scored 111 goals in 362 Liverpool appearances. That's not elite output by any traditional measure. But Liverpool's 2019 Champions League and 2020 Premier League don't happen without him. The false nine role under Jurgen Klopp required someone willing to sacrifice personal statistics for collective function. Firmino pressed from the front, linked midfield to attack, created space for Salah and Mane to become the headlines. His value never appeared on a goals-per-game chart. It appeared in how Liverpool looked when he wasn't there. Disconnected, less fluid, missing the player who made the system coherent. Level 5 isn't about output. It's about what disappears when they're gone.
Level 6. The Legacy Makers.
They became the reason their clubs are remembered. Harry Kane evolved the striker into a playmaker. Tottenham, 280 goals in 435 games, while becoming one of the Premier League's most creative forwards. The partnership with Son Heung-min produced 37 goal combinations, an all-time league record for any duo. Bayern Munich, 114 goals in 120 games, a Bundesliga title. England, 78 goals, all-time record. The transformation from pure finisher to deep-lying forward who orchestrates attacks while still delivering elite conversion rates created a template others now try to replicate. Luis Suarez proved that a striker could carry an entire club on his back and then become the missing piece in the most devastating attacking trio football has ever seen. Liverpool, 2013-14. 31 goals in 33 games. No penalties. Missed the first 5 matches through suspension. Still won the Golden Boot. He was directly involved in nearly half of Liverpool's 101 league goals that season, a one-man title challenge that fell 2 points short. Sky Sports started comparing him to entire teams rather than individual players. Thierry Henry called him, by a distance, the best number 9 in the world. Then Barcelona. The MSN era with Messi and Neymar produced 122 goals in their first season together, the most by any attacking trio in Spanish football history. They won the treble. The following year, Suarez outscored both Messi and Ronaldo with 59 goals, becoming the first player since 2009 to win La Liga's Golden Boot ahead of those two. In his first 100 Barcelona appearances, 88 goals and 43 assists, more combined goal contributions than Ronaldo managed in his first 100 at Real Madrid. What made Suarez different wasn't just the output, it was the relentlessness. The runs that defenders couldn't track, the first touch that created angles that shouldn't exist, the finishing from positions that looked like half chances until he buried them. He pressed like a midfielder and scored like a poacher. Barcelona, 198 goals in 283 games, 4 La Liga titles, Champions League winner. The bridge between Liverpool nearly man and Barcelona legend. Thierry Henry combined elegance with destruction. Arsenal, 228 goals in 377 games, 4 Golden Boots. The 2002-2003 season delivered 24 goals and 20 assists. No player before or since has matched both numbers in a single Premier League campaign. The following year, the Invincibles. 30 league goals to claim another Golden Boot. He could finish, create, dribble past entire defences, and do it all while looking like he belonged in a different sport entirely. Barcelona gave him 2 Champions League medals, France delivered a World Cup. But the legacy is the Arsenal years, the way he redefined what a forward could do with the ball at his feet. Eric Cantona brought presence that transcended statistics. Manchester United, 82 goals in 185 games, 4 Premier League titles in 5 seasons. The collar, the composure, the seagull's speech. Beyond the numbers, he taught Ferguson's young generation, Scholes, Beckham, Giggs, the Nevilles, how to carry themselves as winners. The aura was earned because the performances backed it up. He retired at 30, on his terms, with nothing left to prove. Samuel Eto'o proved elite across multiple systems and proved doubters wrong at every turn. Real Madrid gave up on him too early, loans and a sale to Mallorca. Barcelona's gain, 130 goals in 5 seasons, 3 La Liga titles, the second player in history to score in 2 separate Champions League finals. Then Inter Milan under Mourinho, where he accepted a position change to right winger at 29 years old to accommodate other attackers. The reward, a treble season, including another Champions League trophy. Back-to-back European titles with different clubs. 4-time African Footballer of the Year. Wayne Rooney was the complete forward before the term existed. Manchester United, 253 goals and 146 assists in 559 games. The only player in Premier League history to score 200 goals and provide 100 assists. He broke Bobby Charlton's all-time scoring record in over 200 fewer appearances than it took Charlton to set it. Euro 2004 announced him to the world. 18 years old, 4 goals in 3 games, terrorizing defenders twice his age. Sven-Göran Eriksson compared the impact to Pelé at the 1958 World Cup. Ferguson called him the best young player England had produced in 30 years, then paid £25.6 million to prove it, a world record for a teenager. What followed? 5 Premier League titles, a Champions League, 16 trophies total. The overhead kick against Manchester City, the volley against Newcastle. Goals from everywhere, in every way imaginable. But the statistics only capture part of it. Rooney could score, create, press, head, tackle, and drag his team forward through sheer force of will. He played as a second striker, a number 10, a deep-lying forward, even central midfield when his legs slowed. The aggression that made him unstoppable at 18 evolved into the intelligence that kept him effective at 30. England's all-time leading scorer until Kane surpassed him. Most capped outfield player in 3 Lions history. The game demanded specialists. Rooney was a specialist at everything. Raúl defined Real Madrid for a generation. 323 goals in 741 appearances. Club records in both categories until Cristiano Ronaldo arrived. 3 Champions League titles, 6 La Liga titles, and the first player to score 50 Champions League goals. The first to make 100 appearances in the competition. The first to score in 2 separate finals. He won UEFA Best Forward 3 consecutive years. The silencing celebration at the Camp Nou, finger to lips after scoring against Barcelona, became iconic. Never received a red card in his entire career. For 15 years, he was the standard against which every Spanish striker was measured. Kylian Mbappe is writing the next chapter in real time. 409 career goals at 26, the youngest to reach 400 since Pelé. World Cup winner at 19 with 4 goals in the final tournament. 6 consecutive League One top scorer awards, a record no one else has touched. PSG's all-time leading scorer. Now at Real Madrid, 59 goals in calendar year 2025, matching Cristiano Ronaldo's club record. The pace, the finishing, the big game composure are already historically elite. The only thing missing is a Champions League title. And at this trajectory, the question isn't if, but when. Level 6 isn't measured in seasons, it's measured in decades. Level 7. The untouchables. Their careers can't be cleanly categorized. Dominant regardless of system, league, or era. These aren't just great players. They're the ones who made everyone else recalibrate what was possible. Ronaldo Nazario at his peak was the most complete forward football has ever produced. 2 World Cups, 2 Ballon d'Ors, 3 FIFA World Player of the Year awards. The 1996 to 1999 window, pace, power, technical precision, finishing, dribbling, all maximized simultaneously. PSV, 54 goals in 58 games. Barcelona, 47 in 49. Numbers that still don't capture what he did to elite defenders in real time. 7 knee surgeries tried to end it. He still scored 104 goals in 177 games for Real Madrid after the injuries. Think about that. Even the diminished version, carrying extra weight, missing the explosive acceleration, was world-class. Prime Ronaldo was something else entirely. Defenders who studied film, who knew exactly what was coming, still couldn't stop it. Cristiano Ronaldo evolved across 2 decades in ways that shouldn't be physically possible. Winger at Manchester United. Free-roaming forward winger at Real Madrid. Pure striker in his 30s. 954 career goals and counting. Top scorer in Champions League history. Top scorer in European Championship history. Top scorer in international football history with 143 goals. The adaptation is the legacy. When pace declined, spatial awareness sharpened. When dribbling decreased, aerial dominance increased. When legs slowed, positioning intelligence compensated. Every version of his career produced elite output because he refused to let physical decline dictate his trajectory. He's 40 and still scoring in Saudi Arabia because the obsession with goal output never stopped, and probably never will. Erling Haaland belongs here even at 25 because the scoring rate is unprecedented in modern football. Manchester City, 149 goals in 169 games. Fastest to 50 Champions League goals in history, 49 matches. Fastest to 100 Premier League goals in history, 111 appearances, obliterating Alan Shearer's 30-year record by 13 games. Norway, 55 goals in 48 appearances, their all-time leading scorer before his 25th birthday. He's already reshaping how defensive units prepare for matches. Entire tactical structures, low blocks, zonal marking schemes, designated Haaland watchers, exist specifically to limit his movement patterns. The physical profile, raw pace, functional strength, clinical finishing instinct, combined with elite spatial processing, has produced conversion rates that project to break every major record before he turns 30. The argument against placing him here is career length. The argument for it: no forward in history has scored at this rate in a top league at this age. And unlike most young phenoms, the efficiency isn't declining, it's accelerating. Lionel Messi wasn't a striker by position. He became one by consequence, and then redefined what the position could produce. The false 9 role under Guardiola didn't just work, it broke football. In 2012, playing as the central attacking point in that system, Messi scored 91 goals in 69 games. A goal every 66 minutes for an entire calendar year. He shattered Gerd Müller's record that had stood for 40 years. Guardiola called it another sport. Even Cristiano Ronaldo admitted the number was crazy. 8 Ballon d'Ors, nearly 900 career goals. Coaches tried everything. Nothing worked for long. He created more than most midfielders. He scored more than most forwards. He won more than almost anyone, including the World Cup that finally completed his legacy and silenced the last remaining doubts. The arguments about him never end because the sample size keeps expanding and he keeps adding to it. Sergio Aguero is the answer to a question no one wants to ask. What happens when an untouchable career ends before it should? Manchester City paid £35 million in 2011 for a 23-year-old Argentine who'd already won the Europa League as the tournament's top scorer. What followed was a decade that redefined what Premier League striking could look like. 260 goals in 390 appearances, 5 Premier League titles, 12 hat-tricks, more than anyone in league history. The best minutes per goal ratio the competition had ever seen, 1 every 108 minutes, 14 minutes better than anyone else. The numbers only tell part of it. Aguero's low centre of gravity let him glide past defenders who should have been able to stop him. Explosive acceleration from a standing start, quick feet that could navigate the tightest spaces in a crowded penalty area, clinical finishing that made goalkeepers feel like spectators. He wasn't the tallest or most physical striker in a league built on physicality, but he was the most lethal. Defenders knew exactly what he wanted to do and still couldn't prevent it. He left City in 2021 with a statue commissioned outside the Etihad, standing forever alongside Kompany and Silva. Guardiola wept during the post-match interview. "We cannot replace him," he said, voice breaking. At 33, Aguero looked ready for one final chapter. Barcelona signed him on a free transfer, a chance to finally play alongside his close friend Messi, to chase a Champions League in a new system, to prove the goals weren't finished yet. 5 appearances, 1 goal against Real Madrid in the Clásico. Then, 41 minutes into his first start, his chest tightened. Cardiac arrhythmia. The diagnosis came back definitive. He would never play professional football again. We can only imagine what could have been. A full season creating alongside Messi, a World Cup run with Argentina in Qatar, more years of that clinical finishing that made defenders feel helpless. His former teammates lifted the trophy 8 months later. You have to imagine he watched that final and wondered. But here's what we do know. When Sergio Aguero was healthy, when his body allowed him to do what his mind had always known how to do, very few strikers in the history of this sport were better. The career didn't end because the talent faded or the legs gave out. It ended because sometimes football takes things away for reasons that have nothing to do with football. And maybe that's the cruelest proof of his greatness, that even now, years later, we're still mourning the goals we never got to see. 7 levels. From collapsed potential to generational dominance. Some rewrote what the position could be entirely. The centre-forward role has evolved more than any other position in football. From pure poachers to false nines, from target men to playmaking strikers, the best players adapted rather than resisted. Who did we miss? Who should be higher? Drop your take in the comments.